This time, the history of Japan is the aftermath of the Meiji Restoration. In the previous issue, I explained the Hagi Rebellion, which was led by Issei Meihara and others. From this issue, I will explain the Seinan War, the last and greatest civil war in modern Japan. The Seinan War was a rebellion started by Takamori Saigo, a prominent figure in the Meiji Restoration. This rebellion was much larger than any other rebellion that had ever been started by a samurai. As explained in past videos, in 1873, Saigo resigned his post and returned to his hometown of Kagoshima after losing to Iwakura, Okubo, and others in the debate to send Saigo to Korea. At this time, a large number of 600 Satsuma soldiers and others, including Toshiaki Kurino and Kunamoto Shinohara, who adored Saigo, resigned and followed him back to Kagoshima. After returning to his hometown, Saigo spent his time as a farmer and hunter. However, young bloodthirsty samurai returned to Kagoshima in droves, so Saigo established a school for them in 1874. This was called a private school. This school was a school for military training and Chinese studies, and recruited samurai who had returned to Kagoshima in Saigo's favor to serve as teachers. Kurino, Shinohara, and others became representatives of this school and took over Saigo's leadership of the samurai of Kagoshima. The private school became a large organization to which all the samurai in Kagoshima belonged, and Kagoshima became a place where the samurai ruled. Kagoshima also had a new government prefectural governor, Tsuneyoshi Oyama, but he too could not do his job at all without placing people from the private schools in key positions in the prefecture. Kagoshima did not pay taxes to the new government and became like an independent country. Okubo, the leader of the new government, did not want to have any trouble with the Kagoshima samurai families, so he virtually tacitly approved of the independence of Kagoshima. However, Kido and others from the Choshu clan in the new government considered this private school as a training institution for rebellion against the new government and regarded it as extremely dangerous. 1876, Toshimiki Okubo could not refuse the Kagoshima prefectural government reform proposal from Kido and other Choshu factions. During this period, Okubo was in a very difficult position, both outside the government, where he had to deal with the problems of Saigo and private schools, and inside the government, where he was in a power struggle with the Choshu clique. However, this reform plan could not be carried out due to the opposition of Kagoshima prefectural governor Tsuneyoshi Oyama and the uprisings of samurai in various regions. Saigo did not respond to the Hagi Rebellion of 1876 or the Jinporen Rebellion. Rather, he retreated to the Kagoshima countryside and avoided contact with the Kagoshima samurai. He avoided contact with the Kagoshima samurai, lest they joined the rebellion. However, when Saigo heard of the samurai rebellion, he is reported to have said that it was a very pleasant event. And the new government was very much afraid that Saigo and Kagoshima, inspired by these rebellions, would revolt. Therefore, the new government had to take measures against Kagoshima by some means. One of these measures was the dispatch of secret police to Kagoshima. In January 1877, Kagoshima-born police commissioner Toshiaki Kawaji dispatched 24 police officers, also from Kagoshima, on what he called a homecoming mission. He ordered them to conduct internal reconnaissance of private schools and to conduct a detachment operation. One of the other missions was to move the ammunition manufacturing machinery located in Kagoshima. The only Japanese ammunition manufacturing plant was in Kagoshima, which was a serious problem because it was located in a potentially insurrectionary area. In January 1877, the government sent a ship to Kagoshima to attempt to transfer this manufacturing facility. Although this manufacturing facility nominally belonged to the government, it had been financed and built by the Satsuma clan at the end of the Edo period and was therefore their own property, built by them. Naturally, the Kagoshima samurai would not stand by and watch the government take their manufacturing facilities like thieves, so they raided government ammunition storage depots scattered throughout Kagoshima and looted the ammunition. When Takamori Saigo heard the news of the raid on the ammunition depots by the private school students, he said, "Shit," and hurried back to Kagoshima City. In addition, Kurino and other officials of the private school captured a secret police detective released by Kawaji, tortured him severely, and obtained a confession that they were plotting to assassinate Saigo. This report caused the samurai of Kagoshima, who adored Saigo, to become enraged, and even Saigo could no longer restrain them. A large number of samurai gathered at a private school to discuss the issue. Some said they would raise an army and avenge the government, while others wanted Saigo to go to Tokyo to answer for his crimes. Some even said that I would appeal directly to the emperor. In the midst of a heated argument, Shinohara said, "Men don't argue." Then Kurino said, "There is only one decision. We will raise our troops and question the crimes of the government." With these words, the decision was made to use force against the new government. Here I would like to describe the two cadres who caused the Seinan War. One was Toshiaki Kurino. After spending his childhood in poverty, he became a subordinate of Saigo at the end of the Edo period and participated in the Satsuma clan's campaign to overthrow the shogunate. He also served under Saigo during the Boshin War, and was the main force of the army under Saigo's command. It is said that he was present at the meeting between Saigo and Katsu at which the Edo castle was opened, and it is believed that he was highly trusted by Saigo. Kurino, who started out as a mere soldier in the Boshin War, quickly rose to prominence and fought as a general staff officer in the Aizu War. He served as a representative of the government forces at the conference for the surrender of the Aizu clan. He was also a man of compassion, and it is recorded that he cried at the meeting out of concern for the feelings of the surrendered Aizu domain. He was also faithful to the surrendered Aizu domainers, and received the sword of gratitude from the Lord of Aizu, Katamori Matsudaira. After the Meiji Restoration, he served in the new government as a Kingsguard, and in 1871, at the age of 32, he became a major general in the army. He had a bright future as a soldier, but when Saigo resigned, he chose to follow Saigo rather than advance his career. The other was Kunamoto Shinohara. He was a part of the subversion of the shogunate movement planned by Shinshichi Arima at the end of the Edo period. He was a party to the Teradaya incident, in which he fought against pursuers sent by Shimazu Hisamitsu. Later, he was also involved in the Anglo-Satsuma War fought between Satsuma and England. In the Boshin War, he was a platoon commander of the Satsuma clan in the Battle of Toba Fushimi. He also served as a Kingsguard of the new government, and held the same rank of Major General in the army as Kurino. His military talents were highly valued by the new government. He was also highly trusted by the Emperor Meiji and was appointed as Director General of Konoe. When Saigo resigned, he tried to resign, but was ordered by Emperor Meiji to remain in his position. Both of them were unselfish men who were the ideal of the samurai of Satsuma. Saigo himself was a selfless man, and disliked those who were driven by greed. They were trusted by Saigo and supported by the samurai of Kagoshima because they were clear-cut and honest people. The private school where they taught was a school for training samurai, and only samurai could enter. This was the exact opposite of the Meiji government's policy of using commoners as soldiers. Saigo, Kurino, and Shinohara were samurai, but they were not politicians. They did not have a vision for the future of the samurai gathered in Kagoshima. They decided to rebel on the basis of a forcibly fabricated confession that they were plotting to assassinate Saigo. However, they had no strategy, but only a hopeful belief that if Saigo started a rebellion, samurai from all over the country would respond, and the new government would be overthrown in a matter of seconds. They also probably thought that a group of farmers and merchants could never compete with an army of warriors. Okubo and Yamagata of the new government believed that eventually, even if Saigo himself had no intention of doing so, his samurai cronies would start a rebellion. They were preparing for the coming rebellion. The Satsuma army, with Kurino as its commander-in-chief, left Kagoshima on February 15, 1877. Then, on February 19, the new government issued an imperial edict to oust Saigo. The new government appointed Lieutenant General Aritomo Yamagata and Lieutenant General Sumiyoshi Kawamura as the actual commanders-in-chief. The speed with which the new government responded to the situation was indicative of the thoroughness of its preparations, and it was evident that a modern communications network had been set up in areas where a rebellion was likely to occur. Incidentally, Aritomo Yamagata, the commander-in-chief, was 39 years old at this time. This shows how young the people who initiated the Meiji Restoration were. In the next article, I will explain the specific battles of the Seinan War. If you enjoyed this article, please subscribe to our channel and click the like button.